We've got some.
Hey, I'm Luis.
And I'm Luis.
And you're listening to the Content is Profit podcast.
We spent the last 4 years learning the strategies and techniques from some of the top marketers in the world on how to create content that turns into profit. And today, we're bringing them to you so you can take action immediately and start creating real content momentum.
If you'd like to learn more about how to turn your content into profit, go to contentisprofit.com. Oh, yeah. Happy Friday. You know what that means. Another value-packed guest just for you. We met today's guest through our partnership with David Metzler's team, and we're extremely excited for him to share his knowledge.
Oh, yeah, baby. That is right. And today's guest is best known as your friendly neighborhood business broker. His unique experience as both successful entrepreneur and operator makes him one of the best resources and probably friends you could have.
Today's guest is ready to help you take sales game to the next level. His high energy reflects his other nickname, the Sales Energizer. So we hope you are ready.
Oh yeah, that is so exciting. Please welcome the host of Dan Journal, Sales Energizer Show, your friendly neighborhood business broker, and the Sales Energizer himself, Dan Jourdan.
You guys have nailed it. I mean, I have had like 6 or 7 different careers, buying and selling businesses. That's what I did. So that one, the business broker one, I sold years ago. But it's cool. You can keep it at, huh? What the heck? Everything still goes. But that's something that people need to remember. This is real important because you get a certain job and you're in a certain lane in sales, and people think you got to stay in that lane. But your most important asset in any business that you're in is your customers, and you get to keep them wherever you go, especially with you guys and all your social media, and you get it out there. Anybody that, 10 years from now, your most important asset will be your database. And that's exactly what you guys are doing, building a database. So in that business, that business brokerage business, I've brought customers over into my new thing, into sales, into the consulting practice, into the other, the large, kind of construction stuff that we do. Everybody's all together. Your customers are yours, baby. Keep them.
I love it. And we usually wait a little bit to start throwing the golden boulders, but Dan, you started on fire from the very beginning, man. You're
listen, that's how I roll. Come on, fast and hard. I just love you guys. I love the whole, exactly what you're doing, exactly the right way, your attitude, your enthusiasm towards it, and you make it fun. And that's the whole thing. People think things need to be so bloody serious all the time. I mean, playing around like my office looks all, like it's all serious here. The whole thing's fake. Look at this. I mean, it's a fake wall. Nobody knows anything.
I love it. I know. I was about to ask you, hey, where do you find that wood? That looks incredible. Oh no, the mic. Okay, so for those listening, Mike is actually giving us a tour of his incredible offer. Yeah, and I feel like that's where we have the meeting the other day. So thank you, Dan, for giving us a tour. A little context, we met Dan again through David Metzler's team. We actually had a call where I was so intrigued with what he was doing. His business, his family, like the Sales Energizer, and he's doing something incredible with Amazon that we'll do in just a second. So can you?
I think put him on down there.
There we are. Boom.
Let me see.
Can we see?
No.
Nope.
We're trying to get the audio back again. Unfortunately, it got disconnected.
Oh, looks like your mic is not connected, Dan. So it's all good.
That's what happens when we go live too. That is part of the beautiful thing, right? You get to see the behind the scenes of how everything works.
Now can you hear me?
Yes,
we can hear you. There we go.
Yeah, but I can't hear squat from you. So hold on. This is good. This is real live stuff.
That's true. So, Dan, I think if you go down to the setting gear,
now talk. What am I doing?
Can you hear us still? Can you hear us?
No, this thing plugged in.
We're gonna
tell you what. I'm gonna go out and then come back in.
Sounds good. Sounds good. All right. So for those listening right now, this is one of the this is a perfect example on going live in different shows, right? Yep. And do you remember the first time when we actually went live?
on the 45 live or live on the podcast?
Live on the podcast.
I mean, episode 1, we went live.
Do you remember what you felt?
Sweaty pits.
Sweaty pits.
I felt my shirt getting a little bit heavier from all the sweat and nervousness that I was pouring out into the world.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was great. I mean, it happens. Like, I think that one of the biggest lessons we've managed to get from doing the show live is the fact that we have learned how to deal with this type of situations.
Yeah.
Like, this would have happened in the first episode.
Game over.
Whew.
Episode end, we delete everything from the whole thing. And, we're super thankful, obviously, of guests like Dan here that are able to think of their feet and come back.
At that.
Yeah, we are here. All right.
That's it. Live in concert.
Yeah, we were just realizing and remembering the first time that we were live. And, there's obviously a reason of why we do this. But at the same time, that was like a no excuse rule that we put in our plates. We're like, hey, whatever happens, happens. That's our brand. And we love you, man. Thank you so much for being so real and about this, because I know that you also use the live element a lot. And you're like, man, you know what? If it happens, it happens.
Well,
what can we do? Let's move on.
In this world, the way things are going right now, as soon as you make any content that tapes and things like that, and strategies and all your sales skills and all lessons, as soon as you make it, 2 minutes later, it's old news. I'm telling you, the world right now, if it's not live, it's dead. And your job as a marketer and as a salesperson is to make use as much live material as you can do. And we make instant content that you could repurpose all day long. But I mean, I got business this week from someone that saw a video from 2 years ago.
Absolutely.
And that happens to everybody. The whole idea is to be consistently putting out new stuff. And here's the thing. You guys maybe not know this. There used to be this old cartoon, The Far Side, and everybody loved The Far Side. Everybody has their favorite little Far Side, story. And the guy's name was Gary Larson, and he made all these really kind of cool cartoons, and people liked them. A lot of cows in there for some reason. I don't know why. But I got one of his books. And, you thought this guy was a genius. He was brilliant. Everything he was saying was so funny or cracking on. I got one of his books. About 10% were really funny. Like your stuff doesn't even need to be that good. There just needs to be a lot of it.
Yeah. I love that.
Thank you. We're actually going to cut that in there because it's funny. Like people, like when we actually share exactly what we do on, we share a little bit of this. Like we produce more than 400 pieces of content every single month. We call this safety net effect, right? You just mentioned you got business from a video that you published 2 years ago, right? So today is the day that you need to, if you haven't done it, please make sure that you have your systems in place to be able to have that safety net like Dan is doing, because it's very intentional. The connections that he's doing, the message that he's putting out, the energy that he's putting out to make sure that everything goes back to him.
Dan, I'm curious, how did it start for you? How did you get into publishing? I mean, you seem to have obviously a very charismatic, high energy attitude that people like to bond with. But what made you decide this to scale, right? What made you decide to scale the relationship and instead of going one-to-one, go one-to-many?
Drugs. No, I'm just kidding. No, what it is I'm a big fan of the sales industry. I mean, even as a kid, I mean, it seemed like magic to me. My dad was an immigrant from France, a European guy, and when we're Jewish, and so like we lived in a neighborhood. I mean, everybody had their own business. Everyone had their own small business, and there was no middle management. Like, ain't no Jew at that time. Ain't no Jew gonna get into middle management. You either own the place or you're just going around. There was no upward mobility in that thing. So people own their own business. And so when I graduated school, high school, my dad says to me, and he didn't have much education. He lived in kind of war torn area. He lost his dad, when he was like in a concentration camp, like that type of thing. And he was running around, but, so he didn't go to school much and he didn't give me much advice, but the stuff he gave me was just so good. You'll never forget. I actually wrote a book, Papa-isms, because it was just so good. And, he told me this, he says, so whenever he gives me advice, it starts like this. It starts that, Danny, in this country, And then he would get, so when he started in this country, I knew, and it wasn't this country, it was this country. So he said, Danny, he goes, what are you going to do when you graduate? I said, I'm going to get a job. I don't know. I gave him my plans. And he says, fine. He says, Danny, in this country, you get a job, you have one customer, and he's called a boss. And if he decides to fire you for some reason, you got well, he said goonish means nothing in Yiddish. So you got goonish. But Danny, if you're a salesman, then you have 100 bosses, but they're called customers. And if one of them fires you, who cares? You got 99 more. Wow. So like success, financial success and security doesn't come with getting a job. Because then you only got one customer. Like if you were a landscaper and you only had one customer, I mean, you'd be going crazy all day long. You'd be like with a scissor on all the grass. You'd be making it perfect. Yeah. And then even with that, when their kid grows up, they're going to take the business away from you because they're going to want to mow the. So like when you have one customer, you're at such risk to the marketplace. Well, as a salesperson, I know that. And so there's the law of large numbers. I want a lot of exposure. And so you can do that. And so I got into speaking, which is great. And I love doing that, speaking in front of people. In fact, I was traveling this week. It was a lot of fun. But then one day I realized you could make a video and you could, literally like you take a mouse like this and you press click and you can get it out to like 1 million people. In one shot. And let me tell you something else, because you might not know this, because I know you guys are new to this. It's free. I mean, you just press click and it's free. Can you imagine telling somebody like an insurance salesman in 1952 and you meet him up on the street and he's like, wait, let me get this straight. You mean you could, press a few buttons and put a video and give your pitch and send documents back and forth and do all that and reach 1 million people and it's free? And you're not doing it. So why I got into it, I didn't want to feel like an idiot. The whole life, I'd feel like such an idiot if I met that guy. It's like, this is my biggest fear. You've heard an apple a day keeps the doctor away.
Yep.
Uh-huh. It's like, an apple a day keeps the doctor away. So my biggest fear in life is one day at the end of my life, I'm going, I'm going to go up there. There's going to be, God's going to welcome me in. You have the pearly gates. Come on in, my good and faithful servant. You've done well. But you would have had 10 more years if you just ate an apple a day. I mean, what's wrong with you idiot? So I'm thinking some things are so easy, you just got to do it, and this is one of those things that is so easy.
Do you think because people assume this is the new norm, you obviously been in the field for many years, right? And then when you saw this new opportunity, which for many is not just new, it's the thing, right? Yeah. Do you feel like they take that for granted and then that's why they don't do it?
Yeah. Anything that's free, people don't give it any consideration. I mean, that's why people let their health go away. You take your health for granted because, you have it, you're born, you take your life, you take the things that are free that are given to you, the important things, you always take those for granted, anything free. That's why I always encourage all my clients, don't discount your prices. Yeah. If you want to give something away, at the beginning as a spiff, I mean, that's perfectly legitimate and fine and probably a good program. Give it away. So it's either, like for my speaking, when I do keynotes, I got two prices, free and $20,000. It's just $20,000 or it's free. And there's no negotiation on the inside because then you're getting all that value. I'm not going to do it. Or it's free. And if I want to give you free, it's for a different reason, to move on forward.
Absolutely.
And so because if you give somebody something for free, they will not use it. They will not they'll just completely take it for granted.
Absolutely. I'm not going to lie. Like I've been there. I've been that one person and that took me a huge mindset shift. Honestly, at the very beginning, I was looking for all these free things. Oh, how can I get this free? How can I get this free? Right. And then I realized, guess what? If I'm always looking in for free, I'm probably not the best person to be offering something. At the moment we had a service for $500 a month, which I was so scared to offer, right? I was like, oh, $500, like this is so scary. But it's because I was living on that free mindset too.
Yeah, it's all about mindset. You get what you pay for. I have a little coaching practice, and before I would ever do coaching for anybody else, and I despise one-on-one coaching because you get so invested into it that it's a nightmare. So I'll do group coaching. But before I would ever do anything like that, I'm paying for a coach. I'm doing it myself. You got to do that stuff. The first thing I ask when I buy a car, if you go to a dealer, somebody comes up to me, the first thing I ask is, what are you driving? If I'm in a Toyota place and you're driving a Ford, I got the wrong guy. I go, you're not committed.
Yeah, I love that. That reflects our story with Content Momentum, the service that we offer, right? Because and we were telling this story honestly like a few hours ago, and it was we went to this business and we're pitching them on, hey, you need all this content, we can do it for you, and then they turned around and they said, it's pretty awesome what you guys can do, but where's your stuff? Your social medias are empty, right? And that was just like Rocky Balboa putting on his gloves, just punching us straight in the face, a 1-2. Yeah. We didn't know exactly how to react. And after that, we were like, okay, we need to publish. We need to practice what we preach. And that's exactly what you're saying right now.
Amen. Yeah. Really, and that's the whole thing. And you find out, never take advice from somebody who's not doing it.
Yeah. Hey, Dan, what's, throughout your career, right? You've had, I feel like you've wore these many different hats since you started your journey, right? One of the latest one is it's Amazon. We can talk about that towards the end. I would love for people to be exposed to this new opportunity.
No, we'll talk about it right now.
Hold on. I have a question before that. What has been probably one of the biggest challenges when you tackle sales? Is this something that came natural to you because of your background or who you are as a person? Or what is normally something that you see in people that they're struggling with?
Oh, that is a great question. That goes right down to the root cause. And the root thing is this. It's not hard. I mean, it's not hard to pick up a phone. Pretty much. Do you guys got a phone right there?
Absolutely.
You can pick it. See, look, you just picked it up. I mean, it's really not that. People say it's hard to cold call. I go, man, it's not. You talk all the time. It's really not hard. There's something that's stopping you. And this is actually something I learned from, I codified with David Meltzer with that whole thing. The only thing that's hard is when you don't want something badly enough. If you really just don't want it. I know, everybody knows their why. The reason why they do things is ultimately they want to get to that point. Welcome in, my good and faithful servant. Everybody wants to feel good about themselves. That's your why. But nobody really knows what their what is. Like, in my world with my dad, when he came here, when immigrants like yourself come here with nothing, 2 suitcases, and they start a life, man, you want something badly and you're willing to work towards it. You realize later that work towards it is really the joy. I mean, it's just so much fun. Yeah. And so the biggest thing with sales and getting started is, man, you just got to want to win more than you want to breathe. You want to succeed more than you want. And for your own reasons, I don't care why. Give yourself a goal, whatever it is, and really think about it and focus on it every day. We don't allow the word can't in my house. We just never have. It's just not there. What we hear most often in my house is, after, people vent and do that. Okay, great. What are you going to do about it?
Yeah.
I mean, that's just the mentality. So I came down here to Atlanta. I'm from New Jersey, and I came down here to visit a friend, and he took me to a party. And there's a reason for this story. I meet some girl at this party, blonde hair, Southern accent, bakes pies. I'm like, this place is great. So I went home and I moved back here and asked the girl to go out with me. And she says, no, I have a boyfriend. What are you doing? You were just visiting. And I said, but I moved here, and she says no. And so I said, all right, no problem, whatever. And so I said, I might as well get a job. And so whatever. And next week I ask her out again. She goes, what's wrong with you? I already said no. And then I said, I know, but I moved here and now I'm getting a job and all that stuff. And she says, no, I have a boyfriend. Next week I asked her out again. Next week I asked her out again. I kept upping it. All right. And I finally 26 times, the 27th week, 6 months, she finally agrees to go to a Met game with me, or a Brave game, a baseball game.
Yeah.
And and then since then we had a great time and all that stuff. And, you know, we were married 25 years, got 2 kids. But by the way, she hasn't baked a pie since. I mean, so just keep that in mind. But I asked her, and it's a long-winded way of getting to the point here. I asked her, I said, why did you finally agree to go out with me?
Yeah.
And she said, I figured if you were willing to work this hard to get me, you'd be willing to work equally as hard to keep me.
Wow.
It was the consistency of constantly failing, the consistency that led her to believe that I was committed. And the biggest challenge that salespeople have is when they first approach a prospect, that prospect has probably been in business for many years, probably seen hundreds of people just like you before, and they've been trained to think like a prospect, and they know for a fact 99% of you people that call on me are not going to be in this business 3 months from now.
Yeah.
You're not committed. So before a salesperson can really tell them why somebody should do business with them, they need to have credibility behind them. And the beauty of what you guys do is within a month, you can build credibility to a point that whatever person they're dealing with, they're 99% more credible than everybody else in the marketplace, because most people won't do the hard work it takes to make selling easy.
Yeah.
Dang, that's another good one. Write that one down. That's good stuff.
My fingers right here are on fire. By the way, just dropping golden boulders all around. We have to start wearing helmets, Fonzie.
You can't hang with me. I'm not telling you, having me on a podcast, it's like a contact sport. You know, you're getting pummeled.
Yes.
Man.
This is beautiful. You know, we talked off camera a little bit about this story, and you're like, hey, do you want me to tell the story? I'm like, absolutely, but just let's do it for the show. And you know, it's incredible how we relate this to our life. And oh man, what I took there is like, if you work this hard to get me, you're going to work equally hard to keep me. And it's for every type of relationship, right? Personal or relationship as well. And you know, that emanates also work ethic, honesty, consistency, like all these incredible principles, right? That a business, right, have to be able to serve to the highest of their ability. So thank you so much.
And B, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but there's one more just to encapsulate the whole thing. And be vulnerable. Be willing to fail. Be willing to have your microphone screw up. Be willing to let people see behind the curtain. Be willing to all that stuff, because you know, people don't. When you borrow from the bank, you're not doing business with the bank. You're doing business with a person at the bank. And you know, most people are human. Unless you're dealing with lawyers, then it's a whole different story. Then everything gets vercocked. But aside from lawyers, you're dealing with humans, and you know, all humans want the same thing. Yeah. They want to know that they're dealing with someone with honesty and character and stick-to-itiveness and consistency and trustworthiness, and a person that they're, you know, I always tell people, if you want to be a good salesperson, first be a better person. And so you get to decide what a good person is. But if you start acting like that person you'd like to become, in like 35 minutes, you'll see that person in the mirror. It's that quick. You don't have to wait, you know, for the whole world to spin for you to change. While the way people view you might take a little time, but for you to get to that point, like to change direction, only takes a second.
Absolutely.
It's just that decision. That's where I want to go.
Wow, that's amazing. I think people don't take the time to think on that, so then the switch is immediate. I think people are like, oh, I wish, right? And they just go drag in the moment to take that decision.
Yeah.
But I relate. I think the moment you take that decision, right, that it clicks on your head, that's it. And then it becomes a matter of taking action that aligns with that you are, saying that you're going to be. So for people out there, for you listening right now, have you taken your time to think on that? Who do you want to be, right? We always share that your business grows to the extent that you do, right? And it's just, it goes hand in hand with what you're saying about sales, the type of person that you become. So take the time to think, who do I want to be? Who am I? Honestly, right? Who am I? Am I happy with how I'm doing things right now? I'm going to be the first person to raise my hand, right? Like, yes, I'm happy with a lot of the things that I'm doing, but one of my biggest weaknesses is actually grabbing the phone and making those calls, right? I don't know if it's some sort of fear or whatnot. So this episode is perfect for me. And I'm going to ask a little bit of a selfish question right now, but I think it's going to help that person that is listening as well. What would be, let's say, hypothetical scenario, you don't know us, Dan, and you want to give me a call, a first call to connect with me. Let's say you have your phone in hand. What would you tell me to connect with me? What would what would be the first thing when I say, yes, hello, who is this? What would you tell me?
Yeah, well, first of all, you don't normally answer the phone that way, do you? Do you answer the phone that way? Hello, who is it? No, you probably. But I'll get into that. One of those things, this is going to feed into it, and I'll give you a cold call because I am the cold call guy. In fact, cold call, I'm like Mr. Cold Call. I love it. I love everything cold. I love cold pizza. I love cold toilet seats. I love cold call. I love the whole thing. But my dad, one of those advices that he said when I was a little kid, he said, Danny, in this country, it's not what you know, it's who you know. You've heard that. And so then a couple years later, he came to me. He said, Danny, remember I said that? He said, forget about that. He says, Danny, in this country, you become the person that other people want to know. Then you don't have to worry about selling because they're too busy buying. So that goes along that same line. So when you're calling somebody for the first time, I'll just give you a little tip on the first thing to do, because there's a lot more with nuance and everything, but this thing will get you 85% there. Never, and I mean never, and when I say never, I mean it goes away, are you to ever say, hi, how are you doing today? Because as soon as you say, how you doing today, what you think you're saying, how are you doing today? But what they're hearing is, cold call. Put up your defenses. Hold on. You're literally building up a brick wall before you even get started. Now, take that out of your vernacular. It's gone. History. And replace it with the 7 magic words. Are you ready for the 7 magic words?
Let's do it.
You kept me hanging. I was like, 7 magic words. What are they?
Okay. It's actually hey, I added, but you don't have to say hey, but it's hey. I wonder if you could help me. I'm telling you right now, if you go to Home Depot, into the store, and ask for the wrenches, someone will point to aisle 7. If you go to Home Depot right now and say, hey, I wonder if you could help me, where would I find the wrenches? They will grab you by the wrist and drag you over to the wrenches and stand there with you until you pick the perfect one with the orange handle. People have a need to help. It's one of those things that you can ask for that you will always get a response for. It's their job. You call a receptionist, someone who answers the phone, says, what do they, you walk into a store, any store, a salesperson comes up to you. What do they say to you? Hi, can I?
Yeah, can I help you?
That's their job. That's their job to help you. So if you say, you just repeat right to them, hey, can I help you? Yeah, I wonder if you could help me. And now they lean in. You say, hi, how you doing? They back off and put up their mouth and you're like this. If you say, hey, I wonder if you can help, they lean in. Sure, how can I help you? and you're in the game. So if I'm calling and you answer, ring, 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 answer the phone, say hello.
Hello.
Hello. Hey, I wonder if you could help me. Kind of an odd call, but my name's Dan, and I work with a company that helps companies just like yours get more customers. Who would be the person I need to speak with in regards to that?
You're talking to the boss right now.
Boom, and now I got you. Well, great. Listen, I totally appreciate it. I got you. I know I'm catching you off guard. Basically, we work with companies that if you have any frustration getting new business sales, is that you, or should I hang up?
No, absolutely. Tell me more.
Okay, good. So, probably what we need to do is set up a time to get together, and we're going to have. But the whole thing started because I said, I wonder if you could help me. And then you responded. You said, sure, what? And, when I say something, and, a lot of times people will say their name. So answer the phone and say, hello, this is. Go ahead.
Hello, this is Fonzie.
Oh, hey, Fonzie?
Yeah.
Yeah, see, I just forced you to say yes. Because I asked that little question. You said, oh, this is Fonzie. I said, Fonzie? You said yes. So what it is, when I ask you a question and you answer, you know what that's called? A conversation.
Yeah.
That's a conversation. That's not me just vomiting all my information on you. It's you being interested. In your head, you're thinking, yeah, this is Fonzie. What do you want? And now I'm going to tell you. It's like a Vulcan mind meld. I mean, if you start saying things exactly how they're thinking it, it's you're comfortable with each other. And that's how it gets started.
Wow. This is amazing.
Good stuff, huh?
Yeah, this is good stuff. Dan, just so you know, I'm going to cut this segment right here and I'm going to put it in my sleep, on repeat while I sleep. The other thing that I took out from this is that Joey from Friends, he did it wrong all along because he was, how you doing?
Yeah, that's right.
Like, how can I help you? Right?
That's right.
How you doing?
Joey got it wrong all along.
Yeah.
That's so funny that you mentioned that. I legit was just thinking that. And I was like, how do we craft it? But then, like, if people are obviously interested in knowing more about, the cold calling and what you do, what's the best way? And I'm putting this right here because we talked about hooks the other day and CTAs. And I feel like this was such a valuable piece that people cannot, we don't need to wait to the very end to, share this information.
Yeah, sure. Well, listen, there's so many different things that I've done. Man, just go to Google and pull up my name. It's just Dan Jourdan. It's français, huh? Daniel Jourdan. So you just put Dan, there's a U in there. Dan Jourdan, Jourdan. And I'm very, very accessible. I was doing a show, on Amazon Live. Let's get to Amazon. So Amazon allows, even on StreamYard like this, you could be streaming to Amazon right now. And what's cool about it is for people, this is a great thing for people if you want to start your brand. It's a way to actually get paid to start your own brand. So people start knowing me. I'm the Deej, the sales energizer. That's the company sales arbiter and all that stuff. And that's on the screen. But whatever I'm talking about, if I'm talking about, if I'm using this headset or whatever. So underneath me, scrolling on Amazon Live is the headset. And if I'm talking about it right now and somebody's looking for a headset, my video will come up next to this item. And then if people buy it, we get a little commission. Now, it's not a lot, but in the past month or so, we sold $125,000 worth of stuff. Just getting started with this, get paid a few $1,000s in commission, but I'm building a brand. I mean, in every episode, a couple thousand, 3,000, 5,000 people are watching. It's insanity, and it's just at the beginning. So, how it used to be if you could just get on YouTube. At the beginning, people were making gazillions of dollars on YouTube, and they were financing the whole thing. Now, man, you can't get anybody. You could earn more money in a month on Amazon Live than you can in 10 years building your brand on YouTube.
Wow.
It's a real thing, and it's really only gonna get bigger.
Yeah. How did you come across that opportunity?
The Amazon Live, I fell into it. You have to be a little, an influencer or whatever they call it. But as soon as you know what it is, you decide and you grab your balls and you go do it.
Yes.
And so if you go to I have a website for the Amazon Live show. It's called The Pitchman, thepitchman.live. I had like these visions of being like an infomercial guy. Always wanted to be an infomercial guy.
Yes, there
You know, actually, so you're talking. So I wanted to speak in public. I wanted to learn how to sell from the stage. I wanted that whole thing. So, one of the things in my dad used to tell me, again, we're Jewish, so I'm going to fill into the stereotype. He says, Danny, in this country, he goes, there's an 11th commandment. I said, what's the 11th commandment? He says, never pay retail. And so if you want to look, so what he was trying to say is, listen, you want to learn how to be a computer operator? He goes, don't go to school, get a job. Let them pay you and teach you how to do it. You want to learn how to run heavy machinery? Don't go to school, get a job. Let them pay you to teach you how to do this thing. So I wanted to learn how to speak in public. So you got Costco's where you are?
Yeah.
So there's Costco's, and how every once in a while, like the Vitamix guy comes there and does a little demonstration.
Yeah.
Those big $500 blenders. I got one right over here. Anyway, so I said, let me learn how to sell from the stage. And so I got a job over there, and I was selling over Christmas. I sold 140 $500 blenders. And I'm putting on a show every day, and I'm having a field day, and then I'm recording it, and I'm getting it out on YouTube, and all this. I had people come. They were coming to my events, like, hey, is the DJ going to be? Yeah, the DJ, come on down, have a smoothie. I mean, it was just like crazy how much fun you could do with that stuff.
Okay.
Wow.
Dan, you just gave us an idea of we've been talking so much lately on the YouTube side of things. We want to do something entertaining, right? Not that the show is not entertaining with you. We need like a regular the DJ section here.
Yeah, let's do it. I'm with you. Listen, you guys are going to be the biggest thing, on national radio. You're going to be on TV. No one's bigger than you guys. I just want to grab onto your coattails. I'm telling you.
Thank you.
That means a lot.
I appreciate it. But that might be like one of those series where we actually go get jobs and just speak on stage and sell and document the whole thing. I think that would be like incredible concept.
Oh, let's do it together.
You're already freaking taco.
Let's do it together.
Yeah.
We can sell tacos on the side of the street. It'll be fun.
Oh, that'd be cool. Yes. I'm so down to sell tacos. I mean, half the inventory will go to my stomach, and then we'll sell the other half the inventory.
He's going to be leaving the product for sure.
You'd be surprised. Some of those things, those guys like in Costco, they sell, those big green eggs and things like that. Those guys make a couple $100,000 a year. Just out there barbecuing.
Absolutely.
But you got to be an entertainer, and you gotta love it. Or one of the greatest. I was doing this was early on when I was speaking at a company keynote speech or something like that, and somebody came up to me, and after the speeches, a lot of times people come up to you and they talk about it. And one person said something to me that was just very helpful, just for me personally. And they said, you know what I loved most? And I said, what? He said, I really loved watching how much fun you were having up there. And I think that's really that's really attractive when you see somebody enjoying what they're doing. You can't help but want to be a part of it. And I want salespeople to be that way. It's not like the biggest deal and the biggest challenge that you have right now that you're thinking, oh my gosh, I can't sleep because of this, all that stuff. 10 years from now, I mean, you'll forget it. You won't even know that it's there. It's not even like a zit on a mosquito on an elephant. It's nothing.
Yeah. Oh, so good. My head is about to explode. What?
My hand can't keep up with the notes today.
We're gonna have to go back and re-listen to this.
I do have a question that I've had from a few minutes ago.
Sounds good. That will trump my question. That's fine.
We all know it. Didn't you notice that when he called and he asked for the boss, It
Oh,
was
that's
me.
right.
Yeah.
Well, actually, isn't that funny? So he heard that. This is how like deviously scientific this is. He heard that I asked for the boss. I didn't ask for the boss. I said, who would be the person I need to speak with? And you just took it for yourself. You know?
True.
Wow,
good.
Fonzie.
That's instead of asking for the decision maker, which is like people
It's
start.
a rough
"Oh, I'm
word.
the
Yeah.
decision."
Like,
You know,
what?
so you do.
Absolutely. I like it. There's so much psychology involved into sales, right?
Yeah.
And this ties up with the question that I was having, because a lot of people, right? And this was me a few years back, not right now.
Yeah.
But I did think a lot that sales was just it had to do a lot with manipulation, if I'm being honest. And that was my previous past self, not what I believe right now. But I know a lot of people are stuck in there. It's like, oh, they're trying to sell me. They're trying to manipulate me, right? They're trying to take advantage from me. There's a very negative connotation around sales in general, right? Why do you think that is? And how can we move people from, hey, if you truly believe in what you're offering, right? Like, you need to put yourself out there and you need to have these sales conversations, because there's also a trend going on that is selling without the selling, right? It is, oh, let me just put all my message out there. Yes, you got to put your message out there, but then no, don't make any offers. Your customers are just going to fall in love with you and they're going to start buying from you, right? Like, I can see it. There's an actual active kind of like movement of people trying to avoid sales. And I believe is because of the context around it, the image around sales that is a bit negative. So people don't want to be, tied too much to that. Why is that?
Well, I feel like we're close. We're like brothers. I'm like your third brother.
Of course.
I mean, so
I thought you were.
I'll answer your question completely honestly.
Yeah.
Yes, sales has a bad connotation. It does for a lot of people. And you ask why, and my answer is I don't freaking care why. It just is. I mean, I'm not going to change. It's been like that for a millennial. I couldn't care less why. I just know it is. And I have no control over that, but I do have control over number one. This is me. And so the main thing when you go into sales and you're being taught with that manipulation, and everything's manipulation. I mean, you think asking my wife out 26 times or 20, it wasn't manipulative? Of course anybody who's married is a salesman, and they've been manipulating all day long. And if they've remained married, even more so. And so it's a constant thing. You're going to do that. But here's something that really flipped my world around. And that is, I realize that those who serve more earn more. And your job is to really give and to really serve and to give quantitative value. So listen, if I had the cure for cancer, I have the cure for cancer. It's right here. I have a bowl of cure of cancer. And I call somebody on the phone and I say, hey, I got the cure for cancer. And they say, no, I'm not interested. I could save your life. If I really believed that my product was that good, I got the cure for cancer. Man, your no means literally nothing to me. I mean, it means nothing because it's that much value for whatever the price is, so like David Meltzer says, if I'm selling $100 bills for $20, I'm pretty confident that I'm going to have some takers, it's that kind of quantitative value. So you always have to have the mindset that you're giving rather than trying to get. Now we are human beings. And so we're always trying to get, that's a thing. And so you have to reframe your mind whenever you fall into that, and that feeling in your belly, oh, this call's got to go well. Okay, this is how we're going to plan it, and we're going to do this. That feeling. Yeah. Once you get that, you just got to wash it away. And that might be once an hour. Sometimes it's in between each call. I have a little chant. I have a little motto, a mantra that I say. And he goes, I lead, not follow. I believe, not doubt. I create, not destroy. I make the news. I don't watch the news. I'm a leader. I'm a force for good, force for God. Set the standard, defy the odds. I stand up. I take charge. I win. And then I walk in. I'm like a flipping animal. I mean, I completely changed my mindset. And so when I'm making calls and I feel myself doing that, I stop for a second. I said, man, I've got $100 here that I'm selling for $20. How can I figure out a way to get them interested in this $100 that's going to cost $20? I got something that's going to get, over the course of the year, you will get 30 or 40 new top rated clients. Are you open to that? And if you ask me, well, how do you do that, or how much, now I'm on a sales call, but it starts with giving, and sincere giving.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dan, today.
Again, I know you're out of breath, huh? I know. That's how it is.
Dan Jourdan
being married to me. I don't know how she stayed this long.
I know.
I'm gonna point this out, right? We in the form that we send our amazing guests, right? We always ask, what are 3 achievements? And I love yours, man, because these are the 3 achievements that you put in there. Convincing my wife to marry me, having 2 children that still like me, and the third one, getting on this show.
Yeah, that's right.
I love it, man.
Dan, what will be your number one, as we wrap up the show, what will be your number one action point for somebody, that entrepreneur that is starting to publish, that is selling something and is discovering, that journey of their voice and becoming comfortable with actually selling something? What will be the number one step that they need to take?
Well, number one step personally, for you personally, is to have a morning routine. You don't wake up when you wake up. You wake up at a certain time, you go to bed at a certain, that's how you start your day. You figure out what time you're going to wake up, what time you're going to go to bed, and then fill in the middle. So, but have a morning routine, and that morning routine needs to get your mindset right. So that's the personal thing. But for business, in sales, you need to remember this, and remember this always. There's 3 words that literally repel your customers. I mean, that pushes them away. And those 3 words are I, we, and us. Conversely, there's 3 words that attract people to you. And those 3 words are you, yours, and I'm in the South here, so y'all. And so whenever you're thinking about putting together a script, or you want to speak with somebody in terms of business, you want to always remember, use the words I, we, and us as little as possible, and you, yours, and y'all as much as possible. So if you're like most of the clients that I work with, you want to get more customers at a cheaper price, and ones that are going to pay top dollar and stay forever. Am I pretty close to the truth? So I got you nodding your head 4 times. And if you were to ask me what I did, I just told you what I did without saying the word I, we, and us. And so number 1 personally is have a morning routine to get your mindset. And business-wise, always remember, nobody cares about you. They just care about the outcomes that they will receive.
Absolutely. Wow. We have a lot of work to do with this episode, Dan. Let me tell you, so many golden boulders. We do need to bring the helmets, but I love it. These are very good, actionable steps for people to keep in mind, right? When they speak, when they share their message, right? I mean, we were a victim of that. I feel like, and I'm saying we a lot, which is one of the worst.
No, that's fine. I hate that. It's like when you meet a psychiatrist at a party. Nobody wants to talk to them. They feel like they're being judged.
But what I'm saying is that we've been more conscious of changing that and including the use in the message, because you really get to notice that different, right? How receptive the person on the other side becomes to your message and to your help, right? What we always said, the acronym WIFT, right? What's in it for them, right? Mm-hmm. What is your message in the context of them? So then you can go ahead and help them out. And you just summarize this perfectly.
Yeah, and sometimes people are not interested at that time. Just remember, when you're reaching out to somebody cold, even on the phone, when you're talking to them or anything, they're not like hating you or bothered by you. Sometimes you're driving down the highway and you'll see a billboard like of a big Subway sandwich, a tuna fish sandwich. But it's 8:30 in the morning, and I don't want a Subway sandwich at 8:30 in the morning of a tuna fish. And so I drive by. You think the people in Subway are like, oh, we just lost another one. Why do they hate me so much? They don't care. What they care about is the people that come in, so a cold call when you're first outreaching or you're advertising, man, it's just a billboard. And Absolutely. Some people are into it and some people aren't. But marketing gets people into your store. Sales shuts the door behind them so they can't get out. So they're two different worlds.
I love it. Yeah, Dan, we need to hang out. We need to go to Atlanta and hang out in person.
Well, now, where are you guys?
We're in Jacksonville, Florida.
Yeah, we're not that far, actually.
You're in Jacksonville? My daughter's actually in St. Augustine right now. She's hanging out. We're around the corner. We got to come down. We got to do a live event.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, my gosh. That'll be great.
Yeah, that's going on the board. Absolutely.
Yeah, DJ and the Venezuelans. Oh, yeah. It's like a big... It's a big event.
The DJ and the Bros.
The DJ and the Bros.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, DJ and the Bros. I love it. We'll do it.
We'll do it at Costco. This episode is not sponsored by Costco in any means. Dan, last question. Where will you be if you did not publish?
Where would I be? You mean as far as business wise?
It could be business, could be personally.
I actually... my biggest fear, is up and is to be a little vulnerable here, to be as up and outgoing as I am, baby, that's as low as I can get to. I mean, it's, sometimes when the sun is shining, but sometimes it's an empty cave with no windows and it's, it's a tough place to be, that. And if I didn't have this outlet, especially during this past year, it would be a bad place. Yeah, what this live world is and this content creating world is now is hope. And like my dad used to say, Danny, in this country, you have your health, you have hope. And if you have hope, you have everything.
Mm-hmm. Wow. What a way to end it. I love it. By the way, how can people connect with you, and how can people get the book with Papaisms? Was it?
Oh yeah, Papaisms. Yeah, I can't believe I don't have any here to show you. I got some in the other room, but it's true. I'm not going to run and get it. But Sales Proverbs, Wisdom of the Ages. It's on Amazon. It's a great book. But I tell you what, if you guys send me an email to dan@danjourdan.com, I'll send you one. I'll even pay shipping. dan@danjourdan.com.
Thank you.
Yeah. Take the opportunity, guys. Take the opportunity.
We're going to leave all the links right below in the description. All you got to do is scroll down with your thumb. Do not grab your thumb like Fonzie said last time. Just scroll down and click on the link. And send that email. It's I promise you, it's going to be an incredible experience. Dan, just expect an email from us too. So I'm just going to put it out there. Any last
I'll bring yours in person. I'll drive down and bring yours too.
Yes.
Let's do it. We could potentially... We have a potential meetup brewing in Jacksonville, Florida, and I think it will be incredible with the people that we have that have been on the show that are incredible entrepreneurs. We could potentially do something together.
Let's do it.
That'll be fun. Dan, any last words before we head out?
Oh well, there's times that there is an opportunity to do things, and there are times that if you don't do it, it's just plain lazy. And today's the time that it's just plain lazy if you don't do it. It's this easy. It takes a microphone and a camera and two strong bros like these guys to put it all together, and your business will outshine. You'll dominate your marketplace with content.
And thank you so much for the incredible conversation today. Many more to come, as we hope. Good luck, and with you and your family, things that we talked off camera. It's been incredible to get to know you and to continue this relationship.
Absolutely.
I look forward to it. Thanks, guys. This is the best podcast this week.
Yes,
far.
we made it. Let's go. With that said, guys, thank you so much for tuning into the Content Profit podcast. Go ahead and follow the show on your favorite platform and on social media at BizBrosCo.
That is right. And if you found today's episode impactful, if Dan changed your life, because I'm sure, he changed ours right now, please don't forget to share this episode and leave a 5-star review. Thank you.
Bye, guys.